Okay, the response to Gracie Abrams' new album has been mixed. Rolling Stone and Olivia Rodrigo gave it an incredibly positive review, but besides that, I've heard more negative than positive, even from her own fanbase. Some highlights include Daughter from Hell because she didn't take her multivitamin that morning. What if there was a songwriter with nothing to write songs about?
Hit a wall sonically and then stayed there for an hour.
Now, as a big fan of Gracie's last album, The Secret of Us, and having heard the first two singles off of Daughter from Hell already, I decided to give this album a listen and see what the fuss is all about. What I heard promised us a girl going off the rails, at least from the first two singles, and what we actually got was a lot quieter and more uneven than that build-up promised. The first song I heard, obviously, was Hit the Wall, released almost 2 months ago, and honestly, I put this in my playlists. It's a song about being avoidant in a relationship and also struggling with your own mental issues and hitting the wall. It's a pretty standard song as far as the subject matter goes, but then again, so are 95% of songs in pop. It's catchy, has some great rhymes and lyrics. A fan favorite in particular seems to be the fourth verse. Sooner or later, you'll find out I live in a pattern of breakdowns. You'll bend to my silence, it's so loud, and then you'll lose me to the crowd, implying that she won't share her emotions with this person, she'll close off, and eventually they'll lose her to the crowd that she's performing to, since music is one of the things she does to cope and retreat. And I do think it's a well-written, succinct way of putting the message of the song in 4 lines. Now, something did catch my eye about this single, and it was the somewhat intense psych ward imagery. She says, I try to be violent, but I get caught, a room full of doctors, and an ink blot, which is one of these things that they used for psychiatric assessments back in the day, where you had to say the first thing you saw in the ink blot. Completely inaccurate, by the way. The music video then triples down on this. She's lying on a bed, there's actual doctors, we've got some 11 from Stranger Things energy going on, if you know what I mean. She sees a pair of twins in the hallway, also a very psych ward related twin experiment thing, and I immediately noticed that her whole style changed from her previous era. She cut her hair shorter, her look is much less feminine and more experimental, which is also visible on the album cover.
And given these lyrics and this music video, my first line of thought was honestly, is she okay? Like, is she losing it? What's going on?
And the second single, Look at My Life, only did more to push this narrative. I'm gonna do a whole analysis of that song in a separate video, but essentially she's running around alone, smashing and burning things down in the music video, and the lyrics are also worrying, mentioning light drugs and more thought spirals. But I admit I didn't add Look at My Life to my playlist because of the chorus. I just can't quite bring myself to listen to it over and over, but oh well, look at my life. Bet you can't tell, but it's kind of a bad time. No, but I'm so fine. Listen, a lot of people don't like this because of the fact that she's a big rich pop star, and she's complaining about her life. But I personally don't take issue with that. They should be able to write about their struggles, because otherwise, well, what are they gonna write about, you know? I do, however, take issue with the way it was written. Like, I swear this is the most dumbed down version of saying you're having a bad time, but you're pretending to be fine. Like, I can't put it in simpler terms. That's what she says. And simultaneously, the wittiness that she tries to do that has worked in some of her songs in the past just doesn't work here. Saying it's kind of a bad time and but I'm so fine would work as dark humor if she was talking about something that was obviously a horrendous experience, but she's not. She's talking about her pop star life, and a lot of people are already immediately thinking, well, no, you're completely fine. The same issue persists in the music video as well. I think what would have worked well for this is imagery of Gracie at an actual fancy Hollywood party, feeling extremely out of place. Sure, it's kind of beating a dead horse, but it works with the lyrics and doesn't shy away from the fact that she does have a fancy life. Her problems are just less visible. Instead, she does what this comment captures pretty well. Rich woman who grew up in a giant mansion in Pacific Palisades and went to private school cosplays as a poor, sad, anxious girl who drives a beater and runs around destroying things. Good grief. I get the metaphor stuff in this video. It's cool, but she could have been burning down fancy cars in a mansion and gotten roughly the same message across, is what I'm saying. I don't mind 90s aesthetic beater car imagery from celebrities. The Man-Child video, as an example, was great, but it just doesn't sit right with me in this specific lyrical context. These two singles, with their smashing and burning and psych wards, along with a dramatic album title, Daughter from Hell, sets up this intense, going insane, bad vibe, and what we got was pretty far from that. In interviews, Gracie revealed that she immediately knew that the album title was going to be Daughter from Hell when she made the track, but she never really backed that up with any reasoning, and fans have noticed this. And we can't really infer any reasoning for that being the album title from listening to the album. Daughter from Hell isn't an intense song. It's a slow ballad about how thankful she is for her mom for dealing with her and providing her with opportunities and loving her and so on. And it's actually really sweet. It's not badly written at all, except for the lines where she says that she was hungry and loud and a daughter from hell, because there is absolutely no information from the lyrics, from Gracie, or from her life story to back that up. This person was onto something. Like, what did she do? Did she not take a multivitamin? Was she a rowdy teenager like most people? She went to Barnard. Sure, her family's rich, but it still requires some level of effort and academic success as a child. And without this context, the song, as well as a lot of the album, lands empty and doesn't live up to its promise. I hate saying that she should have just, been a worse person growing up, but that's what have made sense for this album. It has a lot of songs about romantic struggles, some social anxiety, some issues with opening up and mental health, which are not at all bad things to write about, but once again, they don't live up to all that hype she's created. That's the packaging of the album. Now, let's get into the lyrics themselves. What I've personally noticed with lyrics is that they don't have to be great in order for me to listen to a song. Obviously, the ideal situation is banging lyrics and banging sound, but as long as one of them is great and the other is alright, I don't take an issue, and I think that's the case for most people. However, with this album, a lot of the songs don't meet that criteria. Take even Minibar, which a lot of fans have said is the standout that they really like on this album. I can't listen to that one. The concept of the song is interesting. It's about feeling out of place in a social environment, which isn't a very cliche song topic choice. But as soon as I personally hear the lyrics, I'm at the corner mini mart, got $50 in a brain cell. Someone perceived me, kinda scarred. I immediately want to exit the song. Maybe it's just me, but it sounds like she's trying to jam Gen Z slang in there, and it doesn't even rhyme. It gives the same vibes as But I'm Not a Bad Bitch, and This Isn't Savage, if you know what I'm talking about. It takes me out of the atmosphere of the song, and it makes me cringe. She also says, I'll start the bit and then take it too far earlier in the song, and then there's a lyric on Men Like You that also feels out of place. You did it for the storyline. And while there's no more instances of overt Gen Z slang in this album, there are a ton of cliches that are overused to a point that also make it difficult to listen to. On The Knife, she uses knife imagery to describe the emotional damage inflicted on her by a person, which is the most cliche you can get. This would be fine. A lot of people use it, but she didn't only use it on this song. How long will you give me till you twist the knife with a smile while you kill me? Took a sharp knife more than once or twice to the heart of this. I'm a knife cut to the bone. Fans have even said that a better title for the album would have been The Knife, since it's mentioned more than her being a bad daughter throughout the album. But since it's not, it lands as an overused metaphor. And a lot of other lines throughout this album are lines that I swear I've heard before in a variety of places. I'm a drop in your ocean. All you wanted was a golden ticket. In the worst way, at the wrong time. You'll find someone to use. She's also reused the visual of an empty house from the last album. An empty house, the noise is loud, is how you stand it. There's just a lot of these instances, okay? And finally, even if you take away the cliches, some lyrics don't personally land with me or make any sense. Take Death Wish. I really like the melody of the chorus, but some of the lyrics take me out of it. Your eggshell floor is splintering now. Eggshells don't splinter, they crack. But even if she said your eggshell floor is cracking, I feel like this line doesn't fit. By using this metaphor, a default connection is made to the phrase that he's walking on eggshells. But walking on eggshells means to behave with caution around someone that's volatile. But it doesn't work here, since this person is clearly not afraid to bulldoze through other people, as indicated by the other lyrics.
Maybe this was implying that he built himself a fake floor because he's fake. But then why is it a floor? Couldn't it have been like a glass house or something? She hasn't had a problem using that metaphor.
Additionally, a death wish is when someone has a wish for death. People usually say that someone has a death wish when they're being reckless or whatever. But Gracie says that a breath of this person's air is a death wish. And I get what she's going for, kind of. Like if she breathes this person's air, she has a death wish. But it's clunky and it doesn't work well. Men Like You being another example example, there's a twist where we find out that the subject of the song isn't actually a man, but a girl that did Gracie dirty. And I like this concept. It's new, you don't expect it, but this is the song where I would have expected a lot of Gracie's sass and jokes to come into play in order to build on this idea and make fun of and roast this person for being a bad friend. In fact, it's part of the reason I liked The Secret of Us. Even though some of the lyrics are objectively dumb and petty, they work really well in the context of the songs and add to them, just like they would have worked here. And we see a little of this when she says, "You're right, you're really blowing minds." But instead, we get much more of this unseriousness on other songs from Daughter from Hell, and on this one, she chooses to opt for "This person breathes and lives in shadow," which just sounds way too serious and dramatic and out of place. But given all this, as I said, I do personally enjoy some individual aspects of the album, like the lead single, the chorus of Death Wish, and Good Reason, which is generally well written and is about suddenly realizing that a relationship is not right for you and not knowing why, and it has a good melody. And a lot of people say that they're fans of the minibar track. The general reception, though, has been that as an album, it's not very cohesive. It feels repetitive and cliche both sonically and lyrically.
And it doesn't at all live up to the expectation of the packaging of the album or its beginning tracks.
To defend Gracie, some people have said that she did mention trying to use less specifics in her writing, since she has hurt people in the past by being overly specific in songs. And if that's the case, it definitely bit her in the foot, because this lack of specifics caused a lot of people to fail to take anything away from this album at all. So thank you for watching, and check out my video looking at the promises Gracie broke on Look at My Life, which is coming out soon, or subscribe for more pop lyric analysis. See you next time, and hopefully eventually with a more positive review on Gracie's album.